And good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Sports Talk. Good blue morning.
Yeah.
We all got the memo this morning.
Yeah.
The navy blue morning.
Navy blue.
Except for Sullivan off to the side there this morning. We are Mike sporting his Duke blue with Duke a winner over powerhouse USC Upstate.
Yeah.
Last night.
That's why I'm decked out in the school colors this morning.
Who blew a 7-point lead.
Yeah, we're up 7-0, and I began to wonder. And reality took over.
Blew a 7-point lead. Of course, it was kind of early when they had
a quick
that
touchdown
7-point
to
lead.
start the game.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, however, is sporting the Notre Dame pullover today. Who do the Irish have today? Big win last week over Clemson.
Navy.
So he's wearing Navy.
Yeah.
And he's wearing Notre Dame. So where is that game? Is it South Bend?
I think so, but I'm not positive.
They do go to those sites and play, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Notre Dame, don't they still play Navy every year? Is that?
Yeah.
Or is that
one of them, the service academies, they always play. So
it is
it's
at
Navy.
It's in Baltimore.
In Baltimore. Okay.
M&T Bank, is that where the Ravens play?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, at Baltimore, big naval base, right? That's one of the reasons. Am I right? Isn't that one of the reasons they play up there? It's got one of the biggest, maybe.
And it's an ABC noon game.
Wow.
Notre Dame doesn't play at noon very often.
No, and they're playing Navy at noon, ABC, because it's not at
Not
South
at
Bend.
home, yeah. Home games are on NBC.
Okay. And those once powerful Sooners today, Mike Powell.
Well, we head up to the Allegheny Mountains, good old West Virginia.
Is that the Alleghenies? I thought that was the Appalachians.
Okay, whatever. Appalachians, Alleghenies.
I may be wrong. I'll have to check that out.
The Appalachians. But
the beautiful mountains, at some point, those mountains are beautiful. Now, not at this point. I'm saying those have already gone.
A month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's a hard place to win, West Virginia. They're not doing very well, but
yeah, I think at certain times it's been harder to win there than others.
Mm-hmm.
But here's now Brett has stepped out of me. I know what he's doing. He's checking, and I just got a word that we are on radio this morning too.
Oh,
but everything clicked good with Lanny in Orlando.
So we didn't need Lanny after all.
He's in Orlando.
That's right.
But he's already helped us out this morning. Helped me figure out how to hook the box back up to get us going. Everything seems to be running smooth. Tell me again, Oklahoma is at West Virginia?
Oklahoma
on the road.
West Virginia on the road.
Good, right, Brett? I just got a message at the same time you walked out.
Trying to get bowl eligibility.
And that's what was that noise? Is that Mike's phone?
Yeah, I just
he
turned
must
it
have
down.
been checking.
I just turned it down. So, hey.
I just making sure. I didn't want feedback.
No.
But
I was just trying to get our Facebook followers.
The bowl eligibility that you're looking for is for the Sooners. The Mountaineers have no chance, right? What is their record?
I think they won 3 or 4. So.
Yep. Who's the head coach at West Virginia?
I could not tell.
Yeah, I know. That slips my mind as well. And he may not be in about a month.
No. I doubt it.
I mean, I don't know if it's a first-year guy. Are you looking that up, Brett?
Yeah.
I don't know I was going to if you weren't. I don't know if it's a first-year guy or if it's somebody that's been there a while, but they were consistently top 20 for quite a while.
Yeah.
Neil Brown. Been there since 2019.
Okay.
Came from Troy.
Yeah.
19, 20, 21, 22, 4 years and out. Think he's 4 and done.
His overall record is 55-40. That's since 2015 when he became a head coach at Troy.
I think Lenny is confirming that there is a big naval base in the Baltimore area because he also says, and the Naval Academy is nearby in Annapolis. So maybe that's the biggest stadium they could play in that with close proximity to the Naval Academy to draw in more people.
He's Neil Brown's 20-24 at West Virginia.
Yeah, it's not going to cut it. I don't know. What's this, his third year?
Say that record again.
20-24
overall.
Yeah.
I think this is his fourth year.
And this year what is the record this year?
It's around 4-5.
3-6.
3-6.
Ugh.
Yeah, 1-5 in the conference.
So he's going to 3-7 today, most likely.
And he's only
I'm
going.
giving you the edge there, Mike. 3-7.
He went-
Well, thank you.
He went 5-7, 6-4, 6-7, and now 3-6.
Who was the longtime guy at West Virginia that?
Yeah, he went to Houston.
That may not even be what I'm thinking about. I was thinking about somebody that was there
Are you
until
thinking
retirement.
about,
but
Rich Rodriguez? No.
No, but he was a good one.
Yeah, he was.
He really was a good coach. I don't know where he's at now. Isn't he still
Well, who was their
coaching
coach
somewhere
when
at
they
a
had
smaller school?
Pat White and Slayton was their running back? Was that Rodriguez?
Well, didn't Geno Smith play there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geno played there. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, they've had a run of good athletes at a place that you don't expect to be. In a way, I mean, I don't know why you don't expect it. I mean, they've been good in college basketball as well. Final Four, at least once, right? Under Huggy
Yeah.
Bear. Lenny's got me something coming here.
And we've got a local
Dana Horgenson.
going to West
Dana
Virginia
Horgenson, that's
next
right.
year.
Got a low. Yeah, we do. Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
Ben Cutter, if he doesn't change his mind before
Oh.
signing day.
And I hope
Yeah.
he don't change his mind because they're having such a bad. There's a couple things that do it. The program's down.
Mm-hmm.
Change the coaches because
Yeah.
that coach is who you fell in love with and want to go play for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The way he's playing right now, though, he could probably name his school wherever he would like to go. He's been a beast on defense for East Lincoln all season long. So I guarantee you, every in-state school in North Carolina would like to have him
I agree.
on their roster.
And Neil Brown is an offensive coach. So even if he left, that doesn't necessarily
Right.
mean their defensive whoever recruited Ben Cutter could still be there.
Could still be there, but most of the time that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Especially in the coordinator position. They usually
Yeah,
want to bring
that's
in their
true.
own coordinators. You might keep some assistants, and you do want to keep a few around just because they know the layout of the school, everything else about the school. But I don't know about the coordinators. Usually, depend on who it is. If it's a first-time head coach, I would just bet the coordinators are out. I mean, you're 3-7, and it's not, even though the ultimate responsibility comes down to the head coach, it's not all the head coach's fault. The coordinators aren't quite getting it done.
Is Don
Either.
Nealon who you're
Don
thinking
Nealon.
of?
That's exactly who I was trying
Don
to think
Nealon.
of. Don Nealon. That's back in the day.
1980 to 2000.
See?
20 years.
Yeah. 21 seasons.
Hmm.
Did you
He
know that?
won 61% of his games.
61% of his
And then,
games.
yeah, Rich
That's pretty good.
Rodriguez.
That's pretty good.
Rich Rodriguez won 70% of his.
And got fired.
And I don't
Or-
remember
or
what
did he-
happened.
or did he
might
move
have,
on?
he might have left on his
One
own.
job he
Yeah.
got fired from, but he might have left
He's
West Virginia.
he's been
on his
fired
own.
from two. Michigan.
Is that where he went from West
Yeah.
Virginia? Was Michigan?
That was a disaster.
Was he the one? Did he coach? He did coach at Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Somebody, they hired somebody and they didn't even coach a game, right? Or is that another school I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I got to tell you this one real quick. The all-time legend from West Virginia, Lenny says, is Bobby Bowden
At West Virginia.
at West Virginia. Now, did he coach there or did he just go to school there?
Yeah.
He coached there,
Coach there.
70 to 75.
Okay, show's over. We're going to Denny's house. Are you ready to load up and go to Denny Hoover's house? Sounded good this morning. I don't have anything specific on, but I am fixing liver mush, eggs, and grits while listening.
Oh.
So,
Ah. We can't do that well in area restaurants here.
how about that? You think Denny would mind if we rolled in over there about 8:30, 8:35 for breakfast this morning?
He's got any Max.
He might not
liver mush?
mind, but other members of the household might say, "Who is this?"
Max liver mush.
So you've already named the brand.
Yeah.
I didn't name the brand.
I'm naming the brand.
I'm going to guess he's got nieces.
Probably
You
so.
go ahead and go with Max. I'm going to guess he's got nieces.
Well, I don't have a third option to give you. Most likely one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there's some others out there, but obviously not as well known, right?
It says Bobby Bowden played a year at Alabama, and then he went to Howard. I guess that's Howard. Well, when I click on Howard, it pulls up Sanford. So did they change names of that school?
I don't know.
That's
a good
no
question.
idea on that one.
Maybe it was Howard Sanford.
Yeah, it says the team was known as the Howard Bulldogs through 1965, and then they renamed it Sanford.
By the way, we're all wrong, or however many people guessed, on the brand of the liver mush.
Oh,
Hunters.
Hunters. Facebook feeds. Coach Scott Cloninger is watching.
Yeah, I think there are.
Link Pauley's watching.
He might be en route this morning. Coach Cloninger and a couple others may be headed to Big Orange country over to Knoxville this morning. Let's see. Lenny says that he left there to build the Florida State program. So Bowden coached there. He did a pretty good job in building the Florida State job. Rodney Willis weighs in. We're already got a poll going here this morning. Hunter's liver mush is the best, is what Rodney Willis says. So,
and how does he like his? Fried crispy or not? Gotta be fried crispy.
Yeah, I like it either way. But I'm with you. It needs a little shell on the outside, right? It needs a little shell.
I like that crispy shell.
A little crunch.
Don't want it gooey.
Oh no!
Don't want it gooey. Kind of like bacon. If bacon bends when you bring it to me,
I don't like it.
Take it back.
I know people that eat liver mush straight out of the refrigerator.
Oh my goodness!
Boy. In fact, I like my bacon burned. I mean,
well, close to that anyway for me. And
yeah.
Rodney says crispy on his liver mush as well.
That's
crispy as
as
well. Let's see. I wanted to get in a little bit while we're talking here. I was trying to think if there was any major news stories that broke this week, and the one that comes to mind, especially in with to do with football, is losing Frank Reich, at least for the time being. No longer a head coach in the NFL. He was fired on Tuesday, I think it was, by the Indianapolis Colts and Jim Irsay.
What was even bigger news was whom they hired, Jeff Saturday.
Will it be bigger news in 10 weeks?
No.
Or will it be lesser news in 10 weeks? Because will it be big news because Saturday's come in, turned everything around? The big news is because he didn't have any coaching experience except with high school.
And also it's weird.
And he wasn't very good there. Or the record wasn't.
Yeah, and it's also weird that, he was a regular on Get Up, which I tend to watch every morning, and he goes from the commentator's chair to the head coaching job, and will interim anyway at the Colts.
Well, I'm going to say this about Jeff Saturday, and this is just strictly my opinion of Jeff Saturday. He is a smart individual.
Yeah.
He seems to be very intelligent. He played with maybe one of the best NFL players of all time, especially for knowing the game from an offensive side. If he did not think he could handle this job and do well at it, I don't think he would have taken it.
Right.
Do you?
No, I just don't think his loyalty or friendship or whatever with Robert Irsay, the owner, would be enough. He must be confident.
And Irsay, well, you heard his comments, and he's he's got some strange comments sometimes. But he said, "I'm glad he don't have experience. He don't already have." And in a way, I understand what he's saying there. He don't already have that built-in mentality, of being a head coach that might hurt him down the road. He can, do things his own way. He's not worked under a guy and trying to copy that guy. He's going to do things his own way.
I heard his press conference, or maybe it was his speech to the players, but he said, I've never done this before. I'm going to give it a shot, and if I fail, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, I'll know at the end of the year.
I'll know at the end of the year.
Honestly, what does that hurt? Because at this point,
they're
not going to playoffs.
They're not going to playoffs.
You got
why not?
How many games they got left? Maybe 9.
Yeah.
So he's got 8 or 9 games to as an audition.
It's an audition.
And what would you have to see? What do you want out of him to make him your head coach? What do you want to see?
Well, I was going to have to win some games, I think, or you know.
Or does he? Or does he just need to show improvement on the offensive side of the football? And think about this. Who are they going to play at quarterback?
Yeah.
They basically let Matt Ryan go. He's there on the sideline, and he's on the payroll till. But it's a money move. The reason they're not letting Matt Ryan play anymore is because they can save like $12 million if they.
And is this all Irsay's decision?
Yeah,
that
it's
Sam
gotta be.
Ellinger became the starter.
But you've got Nick Foles over there on that roster, who's, you know. He wouldn't come in ranked 32nd in the league if he started. He wouldn't be the 32nd ranked starter if he come in and started Sunday, would he?
No.
I'm gonna say he's. You know,
Oh no, yeah, he's better than he's better than some starters out there.
Oh my! Lenny says Saturday has to be smart. He played and graduated from UNC.
Oh
So
boy,
he throws that.
I know he's going to throw that.
He got
one
us a
in
jab there. Hey, you heard me say something good about your guy there.
Yeah.
Lenny. I've always respected Jeff Saturday, and I think he's from Georgia, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought, that he was the perfect guy that came up, grew up in North Carolina and all that kind of stuff. But I think he's actually from Georgia. Is he from Georgia?
He is. Says he's born in Atlanta, and his high school was Shamrock. Tucker Shamrock.
Okay, I don't know that one. You?
No. Do you know he was undrafted?
Yeah, I did. Well, I heard that this week in talking when they talked about.
Says he signed as an undrafted free agent with the Ravens, and they cut him.
See, I think
he went back to Raleigh and was selling. He was a manager of some kind of electric supply store.
Undrafted.
I should know him.
And he had a former teammate with the Colts. I think a college teammate that was on the Colts roster went to Bill Polian and said, "There's a guy selling electrical supplies in Raleigh that whipped everybody when he was at Chapel Hill." And Bill Polian said, "I love it. Let's get him in here for a workout."
So it brings me to the question: is he a Hall of Famer?
Well, he was
probably
an all-pro
so.
center for a number of years.
Yeah, the guy that comes to my mind is James Harrison, one of the best undrafted players ever. And I think James Harrison's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I got to go
One
with
time
Saturday
rolls
as a
around.
Hall of Famer.
Two-time first-team All-Pro, two-time second-team All-Pro, 6 Pro Bowls.
And a Super Bowl. Won a Super Bowl, which really helps.
Played in 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was first-team All-ACC twice. How do you not get drafted
I know. Too small.
Well, I think that was the main factor.
As in height.
Was his size.
He's not that
at center.
He's not massive. I mean,
Right.
he's not.
But we've already discussed his intelligence, and he knows how to play the game. I don't know. For some reason, I just have the feeling that he'll do fine. I'm not going to say he's going to be a Bill Belichick, or anything like that, but I just feel like he'll do fine as a head coach. Now, I don't know.
Don Revel says, how do assistants feel who've been coaching for years about a guy with 0 experience coming in to be the head coach?
They cannot blame him for that, though.
Nope.
They have to blame Jim Irsay for that. That's Irsay. And you know what? I don't know. Those assistants, I don't know this for sure, but I think Frank Reich will land somewhere before next season begins. I think, on that Black Sunday, those few days, or Black Monday is what it actually is, those few days after that.
I thought it was Blue Monday.
Well, whatever it is. I think it is blue. I think in those few days after that Frank Reich will land somewhere and be a head coach, because if you look at what he's done with what he's had with this team, it's a good resume. It's a good resume.
Job with this team.
I think he went 10-6, maybe his
made
first
the
year.
Playoffs.
And then, was he there when Luck decided he was finished? When Andrew Luck decided he was finished, was he the coach at that point, or was that somebody else? I don't remember. But if you get through something like that, and
remember he brought in Phillip Rivers for a year.
Yeah. Well, who I heard referred to as he won with Phillip Rivers, who couldn't throw the ball 25 yards downfield.
That's right.
I mean, Think about that. We got to get back to this to the main subject of the morning here for just a minute. With the menu Denny Hoover shared, sounds to me like the man is a bona fide connoisseur. Liver mush, eggs, grits. Thank the Lord and good morning. I get good morning last. Son is currently a walk-on at UNC. What's his name? Jeff Sunday? Probably not.
Never on Sunday.
The Colts' current staff have 2 former head coaches. This is coming from Jason. The Colts' current staff have 2 former head coaches, and one of them coached in 2 Super Bowls. John Fox and can you name the other? So Fox is on the staff, and I heard that.
Yeah.
And, now there's one is, would you have upgraded an older John Fox for the interim coach for the rest of the year? That's an option that you had. You'll never guess this other one, though. It's Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley, I think Bradley coached the Jags, was it?
That sounds right.
He was one of the revolving door Jacksonville coaches. There were about 6 weeks ago, well, not that long, about 4 weeks ago, I think we thought that Jacksonville had their head coach in place. Now we're not so sure, right? Didn't they lose 4 in a row?
Yep.
After they started like 2-1, lost the next 4 games.
Yeah, they were the hot property there for a while.
Going to go through a few scores right quick. Some continue to roll in with the texts. Those are great. Love them. Always love them. Always enjoy the interaction.
I do think Jacksonville's looked a lot better though this year than they did last year.
Oh, without a doubt.
Even in their losses.
Without a doubt, yeah. It's just a matter now of getting the right chemistry. Maybe adding a piece here or there. Even the games they're losing, they've been right in those games.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like those 42-14 blowouts.
The old running back from Clemson has looked great.
He's looked real good.
ETN.
There's another ETN playing right now.
Yeah.
Is he in college somewhere?
I think
but
so.
He's not at Clemson, is he?
I don't know.
And I'm just wondering, is that a brother or I can't think of his name.
No, but I have seen the name.
On Tuesday night, Eastern Michigan beat Akron. No, let me hold up right there. Eastern Michigan did not beat Arkansas. Eastern Michigan defeated Akron 34-28. Ohio defeated Miami of Ohio 37-21. And Toledo beat Ball State by a score 28-21. So we've got what conference is that? The
Is that
MAC.
the MAC, Mid-American?
Are all those from the MAC? Because I don't know. Somebody could maybe
Yeah,
tell
I think so. They play all those midweek games in the MAC.
Rodney Willis says that Etienne is at Florida.
Okay.
Does that sound right? I think that's what he's answering. Younger brother. He says he's the younger brother. So, yes.
Yeah, Don Revel said it at the same time.
Okay. See, we got sources everywhere. On Wednesday night, it was Northern Illinois defeating Western Michigan 24-21. Central Michigan over Buffalo 31-27. And Kent State over Bowling Green 40-6.
Chippewas came through.
We got college football every night now but Monday, right? Sunday and Monday. On Thursday, Tulsa lost to Memphis. Memphis 26, Tulsa 10. And it was Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns 36, Georgia Southern 17. Then last night, and I don't know why, but I did not see any of these games last night. Did you guys watch any college football last night? I'm going to guess.
I watched high school football on my phone.
Okay.
I knew that Southern Cal was playing,
Well,
Yeah,
but that was all. That's all I really knew about.
Yeah.
It was not worth watching.
Well, I knew they were playing a very bad Colorado.
What has happened to
Yeah, Colorado's awful.
What's happened to Colorado? That's-
1-9.
It's bad.
Oh, yeah.
There's another coach looking for a job soon. Southern Cal rolled over Colorado 55-17. Cincinnati over East Carolina 27-25. Very good contest there. And it was Fresno beating UNLV 37-30. How about the Fresno State duo? And what a big disappointment that's been
Yeah,
in the NFL. You know who I'm talking about. I know Rodney Willis knows who I'm talking
I
about.
think Devontae Adams is ready to go back to Green Bay.
Derek Carr and Devontae Adams has been I think Rodney will agree that team's been the disappointment of
That's a
of
big
the
disappointment of the
season,
season.
of the NFL season.
Well, there's
so
been
far.
others though that are vying for that. Packers, Tampa
Yeah,
Bay
yeah,
Bucks.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Tampa still got a chance
I know
to
at
be in the
4 and
playoffs
5,
because of
yeah.
the division area. Like, Green Bay has no chance to win
No.
the division.
No, Lord, no.
They could still be in the playoffs if they wheel off 5 or 6 wins. But do you
yeah.
know who their next 3 games are? I heard
Yeah,
this the
they're
other
not.
day.
They're not.
I think their next 3 games are Dallas, Philly, and Buffalo.
Well, they're done.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I know Dallas is this Sunday, tomorrow. Tennessee next week.
So Dallas, Tennessee,
Tennessee's on Thursday.
and then probably Philly. It seemed like they had Philly in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Dallas, Tennessee,
That's not a
Philly.
good schedule when you've lost 5 in a row. Is it 5 straight now? 4 or 5?
Well, the big speculation.
Yeah, I think 5.
Yeah.
They were 3-1.
Yeah. Speculation now is, will Aaron Rodgers be back next year?
Ditto. How many years you gonna say that in a row?
I know.
You
I
know?
know.
Did we not go through the exact same thing with
With
Brett
Favre. Yeah.
Does the Green Bay Packers need a more stern general manager?
Yeah.
Who is the general manager for Green Bay?
I cannot
There you go.
name him.
There you go. There you go. Now, what was the guy that did it for
The
so
mayor,
long?
the mayor of the town.
What was the guy that did it for so long that was really good? There were 2 of them back to back that had really good tenures in Green Bay as GMs, and I kind of understand it. I mean,
Was
it's
Mike Tannenbaum?
no, that's the Jets,
Okay.
and he might even went to the Chiefs or somewhere. But
All right.
I don't even know how you say this guy's name. Brian Kunst, or I don't know. That's the current GM.
does it have former ones on there? Because you're going to know the name when you hear it. There's 2 of them that'll stand out to you. I think you'll know their names, and it's probably the previous 2
This guy's from Raleigh.
Green Bay. Well, there you go, Lenny. Less educated in Raleigh, right, Lenny?
Well, he went to Wisconsin lacrosse. This is
His first
where
college.
he went to college. It says he was born in Raleigh.
Rodney is not a fan of Josh McDaniels. I can tell you that. His second week in a row, he sends me, "Coach is horrible."
Yeah.
Talking about the
Don Rebel says Mike Sherman.
Mike Sherman is one, and Jason has sent me the other one, Ted Thompson. And you do recognize both names.
Oh yeah. Well, Mike Sherman was their head coach.
Sherman was
At
the
one
head
time.
coach. Yeah.
Did he take over after Holmgren,
I don't know.
or was he before Holmgren?
I think he was after, because Holmgren left and went to Seattle. He didn't retire. He went to Seattle for whatever reason. I don't. Well, he did pretty good out there. He took him to a Super Bowl, didn't he?
Oh, they like Mikes. Mike McCarthy,
Yeah.
Mike Holmgren, Mike
Holmgren.
Sherman.
So who's next?
And I
Mike
can-
McCarthy.
I can never remember their current
You already said
coach's
him,
name.
didn't you?
Who's
Um,
Mike,
Matt
right?
LaFleur.
Matt.
Matt
Okay, he's
LaFleur.
Matt.
Matt
Matt
LaFleur.
LaFleur.
NFL head coach twice, set teams back 10 years. You know who that is? That's Rodney talking about the Raiders' current head coach, Josh McDaniel. Ron
Oh,
Wolf.
yeah.
That's the name I was looking for, Jason. Ron Wolf.
Yeah, I do
He built
remember
a
that name.
powerhouse in the 90s. He built, and he was probably the GM there 20 years. That's the exact name I was actually looking for. Those others, though, are recognizable, like Ted Thompson. But Ted Thompson might have the
Yeah, Mike Sherman wasn't the general manager for very long.
yeah. It was Ted Thompson and who did I just say? Ron Wolf. Ron Wolf was the guy that actually, remember how Green Bay of the 70s was, and even in the end of the 80s, not very good. He's the guy that came in and put them back on the map. I think he was the guy that brought in Reggie White as a free agent, and they won their first Super Bowl since the first
Well,
two.
it was like between Lombardi and Brett Favre. They weren't really any good.
Yeah, you're about right. You're about right. They were I don't know how to describe what that franchise was like in the 70s and early 80s, but once Favre got on the scene and
that was kind of by luck.
oh yeah, I have met the guy in person that was drafted with the Brett Favre pick. I met him in person. He played for the Falcons for a while. I think he might even played in Carolina a little bit. I can't think of his name right now, so I hope he's not listening this morning.
Yeah.
but I met him, and Brett Favre was traded by Atlanta to Green Bay for a draft pick, a first-round pick, and this guy went first round, and didn't work out. I'll just put it that way. He did not work out there's so many first-round picks. And while we're on that subject, Rodney, do you still own the greatest bust of all time? The Packers were for a long time, but does Rodney still own the greatest first-round bust? Number one pick bust, especially, of all time.
Ron Leaf.
That's not who I'm talking about. Ryan Leaf is not even close to this guy. I don't think.
Oh, I know you don't. Yeah.
Who am I talking about?
Jamar Russell.
Yes.
Jamarcus
Russell.
Yes.
Yes.
Jamarcus Russell was the
and
first
Ryan
pick
Leaf
taken.
He was picked second, right after.
That's the only thing he's got going
Yeah.
for him. He was picked second. That's the only thing he's got going for him. Rodney says, "Yep." That's all he says about that. I guess he did. He could probably write a book on it. But who was the coach and the GM then, Rodney, that took Jamarcus Russell? Al still in charge at that time.
Al Davis had to be the one that made that decision.
And he didn't usually mess up when it come to he really didn't. But Al's forte
having that first pick is
it's hard.
A lot of pressure.
It is hard. Al's greatest attribute to me was bringing in the players that had 10 years experience. People thought they were washed up,
right?
And then he would win with those guys. He'd put them together and win with those guys.
A lot of them had had trouble at other franchises.
Well, you got Plunkett was that way, and he came in. You got Alzado was one of the guys.
Alzado,
there were quite a few that he would second-hand guys.
Yeah.
That he would bring in and give new life.
Mm-hmm. That was his forte.
Yep. And, of course, back then they actually had really good coaches in John Madden and Tom Flores.
Yeah,
and,
Tom Flores.
Not bad there either. Both in the Hall of Fame,
he came up with the signature phrase, "Win, baby, just win."
Just win. Yep. Now his phrase would be, just draft correctly.
Yeah.
Just make the right trades. Just do something. Let's get back in the winning column, because that team had high expectations this year.
Oh, yeah.
And they went even higher when they got Adams. And they're way worse than they were a year ago when they nearly beat the Bengals in the playoffs.
Have they really absorbed what happened with John Gruden? I mean, he had them on the right track, I felt.
I think Rodney will agree with me, and I can't think of the guy's name right now, but when Gruden left and the man's – what's his name, Rodney?
Oh,
the coach that took over.
Dennis Allen?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Who is it?
I want to say he was Italian.
Yeah, I know. Didn't he go to the Saints?
Tommy DeVito. No.
Danny.
Yeah.
Danny would be better.
It looks like Lane Kiffin might have been the one that drafted Jamarcus Russell.
Really?
Wow.
During that time when Jamarcus Russell was drafted, Al Davis also hired Lane Kiffin as head coach. That's coming from Jason. Rodney says Bisaccia. That's the guy's name I'm trying to think of. And I think I'm saying that right, Bisaccia. But he, I can still see his gray goatee, and roaming outside. He went through all kind of issues last year, man. They lost Henry Ruggs, who was going to prison maybe for a death by vehicle incident. Gruden, just out of the blue, gone because of statements that he had made through emails and stuff. He took over and took the team to the playoffs and nearly beat the AFC
Cincinnati.
champ. Nearly beat the AFC champ. And then they let him go. So all that's on Mark Davis.
Yep.
All that's on Mark Davis. He's a special teams coach. I think he's saying now with the Saints.
I think it is the Saints that he went to.
Yeah. Well, you said the Saints. He said special teams coach. So I think you're both
I'm
probably.
trying to figure out why
he needs to be a head coach in the league.
Yeah.
He needs to be a head coach in the league. I mean, that's just somebody people need to keep their eyes on.
Okay, guys, got a couple of people.
And when somebody does what you want them to do, when you put them in there with the interim position, why do you let them go? Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say, looking at Facebook, we got some guys weighing in. Rich Hauser, William Klein's with us. Rich was talking about ECU's close loss to Cincinnati. Said they lost their running back in the third quarter, weren't able to effectively run the ball, and it affected their offense at the end of the game.
Right.
So
without losing the running back, they might actually come out on top in that game.
27-25, that's right.
Oh, he said he was the Raiders special teams coach. So he went from special teams
that's
coach
what he did. Special teams
okay.
to interim head coach.
Went from special teams to interim head coach. And I think Rodney would agree. I think Rodney's told me before he wanted to see that guy keep the job. And it didn't happen. You know, you go changing everything whenever you bring in another head coach.
Let me ask you this. Was Josh McDaniels a head coach previously in the NFL?
Yeah. He
Didn't
coached
he go-
Denver.
Denver. Okay.
Well, yeah, but for how long? Did he even make it a season?
I think so.
Okay. I couldn't remember. Well, there's one place he was going when he was a really hot commodity, and before he even went, he changed his mind. Was that the Colts? That might have been the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. It seemed like it might have been the Colts. Josh, this is Jason. Josh McDaniels showing once again that none of the Belichick disciples can succeed without Belichick. That is the absolute truth.
No, that's the absolute truth.
You want Matt Patricia as your next guy?
Charlie Weiss.
I still really like
Romeo,
the one in Tennessee.
I liked Romeo. Yeah, that is the only one.
Vrabel
has done a good job. But
Vrabel's done a good job.
He played under Belichick. Did he?
I don't know if he was on their staff or not.
Yeah, I don't either. But he has done a real good job.
Biggest bust has to be Matt Patricia, wouldn't you say?
Probably.
Of that trade.
Well, I don't know. I think we still got the biggest bust coaching right now.
Josh McDaniels.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
true.
because his team was loaded.
Yeah.
This team's got the players. They've got the players to be in the mix. I mean, when you go to the playoffs and lose a wild card game like they did, the next year you usually build on that and go a step or two further. They went 5 steps backwards.
Yeah.
I mean,
here's another failure from the Belichick tree. Was Judge went to New York, went to the Giants, flamed out there. What's his name? Judge?
Yeah, Joe Judge.
Joe Judge.
But they had a bad roster with the Giants. I don't know.
Yeah, I grant you that.
I don't know if you call him a bust yet.
well, the Buffalo tree looks pretty good because Dabold's come in there and done pretty well. And,
Yeah.
let's see here. Got one more, and then we got to take a timeout. Lenny says, here is an Oakland reclamation project that went on the Hall of Famer Ted the Mad Stork Hendricks.
Oh, yeah.
And, Ted Hendricks, one of those guys that he brought in that had – well, look at Hendricks had the best years of his career in Oakland. Plunkett had the best years.
He did.
Plunkett is a 2-time Super Bowl champ that's not in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, and nobody ever talks about
Explain that.
You know who was a long-time Raiders front office guy in their glory days that you've already mentioned today?
Ted Thompson.
Ron Wolf.
Ron Wolf. Had the wrong one.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm sorry. You're going to think I'm lying. That's the one I meant. Just because he was such a long-time guy with the Packers, I figured he came from some good organization.
He was with the Raiders 63 to 74, and then again 78 to 89.
Is Ron Wolf still alive? Somebody needs to give him a call.
Yeah, it says he's 83.
Somebody needs to give him a call. You know, Bill Polian stayed in the game for a long time, and he might not have been the GM, but he was a consultant. And you know, somebody like Ron Wolf could do. I know the game's changed, and since you've been away and you come back, but there's a lot of it that's still the same.
Yeah.
A lot of it that's still the same. Here's my last comment, Jason, and then we're going to break, Brett. Jason says McDaniels coached the Broncos for 2 seasons. When he got fired at the end of the regular season by Denver, he then joined the Patriots for the playoff run. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
He's always got a job. These guys have always got a job. They can always go back home if it don't work out. We'll take a quick time out. Back with more here in a moment.
Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Da-da-da, da-da-da. That's about all we got for music this morning. That's something has happened to our music, our intro music this morning, but we'll see if we can get it going while Brett, between bites of a donut over there for Brett. I'm not picking on him because I've got a donut sitting on my desk as well. Now, I will say this. It's not liver mush and eggs and what else?
Grits.
You guys remember, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Just got a message that the granddaughter mentioned me this morning when she saw me on the show this morning. So she didn't mention y'all.
Name recognition.
She mentioned me this morning. So I have to remember, especially for Brett. That's bad. That's bad. She don't know who Brett is.
Yeah, knows who you are. Oh,
she did recognize me. However, all right, here we go. College football
Saturday.
today. What?
Yeah, today, Saturday.
Today, Saturday, November 12th. It is going to be Indiana at Ohio State. Give me a spread there.
21. I don't know.
Oh, you're way
About
low.
halfway
28.
there. 40.
40.
21 by halftime, yeah. Denny sends me a picture of the liver mush in the plate here. I'll share it with you
No, it
guys.
looks pretty good.
uh,
Nice and crispy.
And I'll put it up here where our camera can pick it up as well. So that's going through two lenses there to our listening and viewing audience this morning. Missouri taking on Tennessee. I think that's where the guys are headed to on the road today. I think now I may be wrong, so somebody can let me know if I'm right or wrong. Scott and Marty and Roger on their way to Vol Land today. Noon kickoff on CBS. Noon kickoff on CBS, and it's an SEC game. That's kind of odd, isn't it?
Yeah. Will Drinkwater have anything for the Vols?
No, because Tennessee's got a rebound.
Yeah.
They got a rebound, and I think they will rebound today.
And that spread's only 19.
Only 19. That's funny when you got a conference game, though, and it's 19, and you say only 19.
You
Well, that
guys-
just seems like a big mismatch to me.
Rodney wants to go if he can get Denny's address.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to ask Denny if he's giving that out this morning.
You guys still see a way for 3 SEC teams to make
Three?
the playoffs?
No, not
No.
3.
Well,
Okay, give me the 3.
Tennessee's got an outside chance.
Tennessee's got a very good chance.
And
I don't think it's an outside
what
chance.
if LSU wins the West
And wins the
then
conference.
goes and beats Georgia
Yeah.
in the SEC championship? Would they become the first team with 2 losses to make the current college football
You know, Mike, I hadn't really
format?
gave it a lot of thought to what you're saying, but it's going to be hard to keep the SEC champ out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Georgia's in.
Georgia's in. Yeah.
Even if they lose.
Oh, yeah.
They can lose a game.
Yeah, I think they could lose a game. I do too.
They could lose the SEC championship game.
All right, who are you bumping? So you're saying the Michigan-Ohio State winner is team number 4.
Yeah, and the loser is out.
And the Michigan-Ohio State, they couldn't play each other twice because they're in the same division,
Same
right?
division.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
they do have a championship game, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
But the West, I mean, my God, who could win that one?
Rutgers.
Yeah. Even Nebraska was in it, I think.
I don't even know. I'm just that's as much as you like to see Nebraska.
Illinois.
Not Nebraska.
Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois had a
4-2.
good year. They've had a good year.
4-2
for Illinois
in the Big
standards.
Is
Ten.
Brett Bielema has done pretty
He's done good.
Yeah.
But as much as you like and want to see Michigan and Ohio State play every year, they need to be in opposite
They
divisions.
do. Absolutely.
They need to be in
And he's
opposite
been playing for the
divisions.
title.
Because they'd
and
still
they-
be playing just about every year
Yeah.
in that championship game. I just think they need to be in opposite
Well, and you
divisions.
got Penn State in there, too,
That's it.
who's usually the third best
Yeah,
team.
that division is so top heavy. You got Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan,
Aren't they-
Michigan State.
But haven't we said in the past that the SEC's been that way too?
Yeah.
I mean,
The West is
who's in with Alabama?
LSU,
that
Texas
was-
A&M, Mississippi State.
But
Well,
now-
there for a while,
Arkansas.
Alabama and LSU were the 2 best teams. And
and they were opposite of each other.
no, they're
They're the
together.
same one. Okay.
And
But-
now that Georgia's come on
And
the scene,
Tennessee and Georgia's on that side,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So that's big. I mean, it kind of evens itself out in the
And
SEC.
are you counting out? Well, can you count out Tennessee? Look who their wins are over: LSU and Alabama. That's pretty impressive.
The only person that's even thinking about counting out Tennessee, Mike, I think, is you.
Is me? Okay.
But I haven't. I mean, I think
Oh.
if they went out, they're in.
Yeah.
Because, like you said,
The
their
two
loss
big-
was at Georgia.
And the 2 big wins.
I think it would hurt them if LSU. Well, I don't know.
It might hurt them if Georgia loses. You know, I mean, if you do it like the high school.
I'd say if LSU
RPI.
wins out and wins the SEC title, that hurts Tennessee because that might put LSU and Georgia in the Final Four. But at the same time, Tennessee beat LSU,
Tennessee beat LSU.
Okay.
so it helps them. And that
Yeah.
Yeah.
on
Can
that
you
side, I mean, they
see-
killed LSU
can
40
you
to 13.
see any way Michigan and Ohio State get in?
I don't.
No,
No.
Okay. Okay.
unless
Unless
you
some
know
of these
if Tennessee
lose
and LSU both lose
They
another
lose again,
game,
yeah.
and Georgia is the only SEC team,
Yep.
then maybe.
Is there anybody else in the picture that I'm even thinking of? Is there a
TCU? Of course,
Yeah.
they're undefeated.
Yeah. I still don't think
And,
they go. I still don't think they go undefeated.
I don't either. They
And I
got
think-
Texas today.
And Oregon.
and I think they have to. I heard the big mark against Oregon was the amount of points they lost by to Georgia, and it didn't
Yeah.
matter when it
Yeah.
came. It was just
First
a blowout
game.
loss.
49-3.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they've been
That's
awesome
gonna hurt
since
'em.
then.
They have. They have.
And how about Southern Cal? Only one
Yeah.
loss. A close one to Utah.
You know what the biggest issue is here? It's a 4-team playoff.
That's right.
It's
That's
stupid.
the problem.
It is
Yeah.
stupid.
We're going to rectify that, but it's going to be a couple years down the
And
road.
the teams this year are going to get penalized because it's not now.
Not now.
you know?
yeah. This is a year we could really use it.
Yep.
Well, when I watch Michigan and Ohio State play, they look like two of the best 4 teams to me.
I'd agree with that.
I think those 2 teams are better than LSU and better than Tennessee.
Yeah, I do too.
I think the only team better than those 2 is Georgia.
Georgia. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. The biggest difference is, though, you don't have to go through the grueling every Saturday schedule that
Yeah.
the SEC teams do,
Oh, yeah.
you know, because
Yeah, I think
there's teams in there that can knock you off, named
Georgia's
Mississippi.
Georgia's got a
and
tough one
Mississippi
today.
State. And, you know, those teams can knock you off at
They
any
can.
time.
Georgia's at Mississippi State
There you
today.
go. That's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, that Starkville, yeah.
16-point spread in that one.
It's just that schedule, that grueling schedule you have to go through. You can't take a week off in that conference.
Mm-mm.
And who's the third best team? Is it Penn State in the
Yeah, probably.
in the big? And they just have trouble winning big
Yeah,
games.
They can't win big games.
They just have trouble winning big games.
Yeah, they don't have the talent that Michigan and Ohio State have.
Who has ruined the party is LSU.
yeah.
That's who's ruining everybody's party because they didn't get off to a great start, but now they're kicking butt and beating teams that are ranked ahead of them,
Yep.
and they're moving right back into the picture. You know, if they beat Florida State, they did, or did they?
They lost.
No, they lost.
They lost
First
Florida
game of the
State
year.
by
First
a
game.
point, right?
First game.
Yeah. If I don't even think it's a question right now that if they're in or not, if they had won that game because their only
yeah.
other loss. Who was
Tennessee
it?
killed 'em.
Tennessee killed 'em?
Tennessee just
Yeah.
40-13 at LSU.
Right. Yeah.
But-
That's what gets Tennessee in.
But LSU
Right now.
has beat.
Yeah.
They've beat Mississippi State, Florida, Ole Miss, and Alabama. That's
Right.
4 really good wins.
Yeah, that's impressive.
What's good about all this?
Which Florida's not great, but
It's fun to discuss right now, but in reality, there might be one team left out that we're talking about when it's all said and done because the games are going to take care of it. You know, I mean, the games are going to take care of it.
well, what if TCU loses today by 1, but then goes on and wins the Big 12?
I hate to say it, but
They're
they
not
won't
going to get in,
Not
are
gonna
they?
get
They
in.
won't get in. They won't get in. And some of that is because of lack of consistency throughout the years. You can't tell me it's just on one season. That committee
Yeah.
is human. They're going to say, well, this team just came out of nowhere. They're going to go to the playoffs, and they're going to get waxed, and we're going to look bad.
Yeah, if you come out of nowhere, you got to go undefeated.
Yep. That's
Yep.
that's basically it.
Now, Link Pauley says the Big Ten is not as good as the SEC, and Ohio State.
It's not from top to bottom. It's not.
He thinks Ohio State, if they were in the SEC, would be 5-5.
Depends on how their schedule roll. I don't think
That's
they'd be
true.
5-5.
I
I
don't
think
either.
they'd be better than 5-5.
Yeah.
I think Michigan would too.
Yeah.
And y'all know I am not an Ohio State fan, but I still
No,
think
you're not.
I think they'd be better than 5-5.
I do too.
Would they have a loss right now? Probably so, because it's hard to go through the gauntlet of an LSU,
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah.
Help me out. There's more that can kick your butt right now. I'm telling you, the 2 Mississippi schools can ruin somebody's party before
Yeah.
this is over, and they might. One of them might.
But Ohio State is still better than all those teams, and they might lose a game.
Right.
But
Yeah, I'll say that.
the
too.
only team that looks better than them is Georgia.
Just because you are better doesn't mean that you
Well-
win them all.
They didn't look that great against Northwestern.
Kentucky's a spoiler. Kentucky could be a spoiler for somebody even, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's a team that you have to watch out for in that conference. And you know what? As much as people hate it and everything, the SEC, until things change, because it is so deep, is always going to get a little, get taken care of a little bit by the committee because of the depth of that conference. If the Big Ten had that kind of depth, then they would, right now it's 3 teams, right?
But you can't blame Ohio State for that.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Just because other teams aren't very good. I mean, that's not Ohio State.
Look at what Jason probably agree with on it. Look what Southern Cal would have to do to get in.
Yeah.
Southern Cal can be a power, but the conference they play in,
you pretty much got to go undefeated.
Yeah, you do. You got to go undefeated, and you have to win those games outside, like against Notre Dame and whoever else they play that's outside that helps their RPI or whatever it is they use this day and time. But let's see. Lenny says they probably somehow need to do what the ACC will do next year, go to divisionless play, and I agree with that.
That would be best. Just take the top 2 records.
Go to the conference championship. Yeah, you don't need divisions. You
I
got
wish
to
they'd get rid of the
2
conference
teams.
championship game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Butch, I'm glad Butch weighed in because I want his opinion because he follows Ohio State very closely. He says, "Dang, no love at all for the Buckeyes from you." I just said they're a playoff team right now. If it ends today, they're a playoff team. But tell me, Butch, I want to know Butch's answer here. If Michigan wins by 1 over Ohio State, or Ohio State wins by 1 over Michigan, will they both get in?
Yeah.
Will they both get in over that powerful SEC or over a TCU? I still don't think I think TCU's good, but their schedule has 3 or 4 teams on there that if they slip, they're going to lose.
Well, they got Texas today in Austin.
Yeah, that's going to be the toughest.
So
that's going to be the toughest.
And then they got Baylor next week.
Baylor's tough.
And who are the last 2 or 1?
That's Baylor and Iowa State. Iowa
State's a spoiler.
They are, but they're not very good
even
this
though
year.
they're in last place. Yeah, they can give you a game.
Who'd they beat last week? Didn't they win a game last week against as an underdog?
I think TCU will lose either to Texas or Baylor. I don't think they win both of those.
Yeah, I don't either.
That'd be tough. I mean, it'll be tough. But then again, the last 2 weeks we've said, they're going to be tough, and they've come out on top in those games. Is what's his name? Sonny Dykes. Have I got the name right?
That's
you got it right.
Yeah, I told Brett what that really sounded like last week off the air. Sonny Dykes. Is he the coach of the year? And it's not even a question.
No.
Not even a question.
He's got to be. Come in there first year.
Who else will get votes for coach of the year?
Well, early on it was Lance Leopold of Kansas.
Well, Heupel. I think
Leopold.
Heupel's got to be in the conversation.
Leopold.
You guys you ain't gonna like this. Nobody's gonna like this.
Brian Kelly.
I'm giving Brian Kelly votes.
Yeah.
Because the way they started and where they are now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That says something. That says something about
and look what he's done. He's beaten Nick Saban in his first year. I mean that.
And went for 2 to do it. Went for 2 to do it.
Well, Brian Kelly is very organized, and he'll get everybody on the same page. And he's also he'll make the most of the talent he has, and he's probably already got more talent than he ever had at Notre Dame. And they had a really good quarterback in place when he got there, and that if Brian Kelly has a good quarterback, he's going to do well.
I'm going to read you a tweet. Not a tweet, a text I just got from Ned, and I'm not.
I just saw it too.
I'm gonna pick on Ned just for a second because Ned just sent me something that's absolutely useless.
Useless?
Never happening. Never.
No.
Happening. Never happening. You ever heard the word money?
Yeah.
You ever heard the word money?
Well, he
Ned?
uses it twice in his text.
Yeah, it's never, ever, ever going to happen. He said, yes, more teams in college playoffs, but really cut the North Carolina high school playoffs in half. Did you see almost no close games in the first round? Money grab. Yes, it's all about money.
I saw a great first round game.
Yeah, you did.
Y'all did too.
We did too.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We saw Wesleyan and Hendersonville very close. Both teams deserved to be in the playoffs.
That's right.
Brett saw Randleman and Lincoln very close. Went to overtime. Both teams deserved to be in. It was worthwhile. Plus, I will say this too. I'm going to look at it from a different side, from just money. you are doubling the young men that get the experience of playing in the playoffs.
That's right.
You are doubling the young men. And you know what? Most guys want to put on the front that we have the opportunity to go and win a state championship when they know they don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think just going in there and getting the experience of playing in a playoff game, and especially if like we were talking about the games we saw, somebody's going to come out a winner occasionally in a close game.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
in high school football, in each class, you've got 8 or 10 teams that can blow about anybody out. So
Right.
there's always going to be those blowouts. Even when you get to the third and fourth round, there's going to be blowouts.
So what you're saying is, let's just follow the college football thing and just take 4 teams to the
4
playoffs.
teams from each classification.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get into high school in a little bit. Of the 8 2A teams that are left, I think 6 of them could win the West. I think there's 6 teams that could win the West, and I'll get you guys' opinions. We might even rank the 2As and 3As since that's what we follow the closest.
Because the King is no longer in it.
And I've got a
King
good
King is
stat
gone.
on them when we get there.
The King is
Gone.
and
On their
right there with Elvis.
on their
Of course,
history.
but the difference is this King will be back.
Yeah. Elvis won't be back. That's
This
right.
King will be back and will reign again at some point. Let's see. Had Shelby in my conference when I played, and they only took 1 playoff team. Never made the playoffs. Glad more get to do what I had no chance of doing.
Who was that?
David Avery.
David Avery.
So there you go. That's a coach speak right
That's
there.
right.
And he's saying he's glad that they get to go. And right. And
with him.
even
I'm with him there.
even further back than that, there were only 1, and they you had some teams that could win the state championship back in the 70s, 60s,
yeah.
70s, and 80s. They didn't get to go to the playoffs.
didn't get to playoffs.
That would have had the chance to
Well,
win.
didn't Lincoln go 9-1 a couple times?
So I'd rather see West.
didn't get in?
I'd rather
Yep.
see more than less
because they lost to, a Statesville or Crest or somebody.
And,
Yeah, one-
I'll say this too, okay? One more thing while I'm preaching that we need big playoffs. One more thing, okay? There's 2 things. One, I really hate to bring up because it might be sensitive in this area, but you don't have to go. You can tell these teams. You can tell the state ahead of time before they drop the playoffs.
You don't want to go.
We don't want to go. You can do that, right? So there's number 1. You don't have to go. It's your choice, okay?
Okay.
Number 2, I might already forgot what number 2 is about going to the larger playoffs, but I did. I can't remember now. That one entered my mind about, we had a local team opt out, and I'm not even going to mention them. We had a local team opt out, and but you can do that. You
Okay,
can do that. You
guys.
can opt out early and not get fined if you opt out early,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to go get beat.
50-0.
Yeah, or worse.
So what do you guys think about the 1A playoffs? Because we had an 0-10 Highland Tech team in it. A number of 1A schools that, record-wise, they probably shouldn't have been in it.
So, is the reason we had an 0-10 is it because there are less 1A schools?
That's got to be.
Yeah, everybody makes it.
Everybody makes it.
And they did not take. Well, they took every team, but they have buys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have enough teams to
So
fill
all you really
the,
need to
the
do is
64
just-
team
yeah.
bracket.
And
I guess they've only got 62
And let the
teams.
1A decide. Let the 1A ADs decide if they want to reduce their playoffs.
To 48.
Right. Let them decide that.
You reduce to 48, you don't have Highland Tech
Right.
going at 0-10.
Right.
Yeah.
But let those guys make that decision.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
and-
you got to give Highland. They went.
Yeah.
Could they have opted out? I don't know.
Well, if you opt out afterwards, you do get fined.
Right.
If they draw it up. But, you on Friday night when you lose your last game, you're 0-10.
Well, yeah.
You can make that call right then
Right
and say, leave us out.
But yet they didn't.
Yeah. Now I'm going to try to read this
Well,
one, Butch.
if you're Highland Tech, you've already played Burns and Shelby. You might as well go play the top
Yeah, right.
1A team.
Yeah. And
I mean, it's not going to be
That's
any
true.
worse than that.
well, my Ironmen, they were 3-7.
They didn't even have to play the top 1A team because they didn't go to Tarboro.
Or Eastern Randolph.
Or
yeah,
East-
Eastern Randolph had a bye.
Yeah, that's
Too.
right.
One on
That's
each
right,
side.
yeah. Here, I'm going to read this from Butch, Brett, and then we'll take a timeout. if there is a 1-point loss to one or the other, and he's talking about Ohio State and Michigan, I think they would be the first one-loss team in. Unfortunately, the Big Ten is powerful. Unfortunately, the Big Ten is powerful. I don't know why that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Remember, Ohio State was the first 2-loss ever to get in. So.
Yeah, but that was before, no, or was it?
I don't know.
Is that before the college football?
I thought
playoff was
LSU
started?
got in with 2 losses. Did they not?
Did.
The year
But
they
that
won
was
it.
in the BCS.
The year they won it.
That's right.
I think they got in with 2 losses. But now
I
Ohio
didn't
State
think
might have been
anybody.
before
I didn't
them.
think anybody
That
had
was-
got in this Final Four
That's right.
with 2
No,
losses.
that's what I heard. Now LSU, that was in the what? The BCS.
That was just a national championship game,
Yeah.
The BS.
The BS.
and that happened because everybody had a loss, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there were any
And the
undefeated.
computers said that LSU should be there, I guess.
Oh, I know what my other point was I was going to mention a minute ago when I got off on the opting out. The other point is, with all these teams that do go, they do make some money.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
they do get another gate. They do get, and you've already taken a game away from the regular season.
You have.
of
Used to
high
be
school.
11.
So every other year you'd be getting a home gate. You know, but now at least you do get to bring home some money. I know you give the state 15%, I think it is, of the gate, but you do get to bring in till the later rounds, and then you give state 25%. But I think you do get. Everybody's going to make a little bit of money, you know, and that's more money for the athletic programs, which this day and time they desperately need.
Yep.
Let's take that time out. We'll come back and check last night's high school football scores here in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
All right, welcome back to Sports Talk. Still everything working but us and the music. But we are getting it done.
The sounds of silence. Yeah.
Yep, the sounds of silence, exactly. And that's where we're at right now. We're going to get into high school. I started looking at the record book, the state record book, and as we get into high school football, I want to mention I overlooked something that happened last week that I didn't get in, and that was Mason Avery, now the all-time leading rusher in a career
in Lincoln
County
Okay.
history. Now, it might take me a minute here to go back and find the actual numbers. He breaks Chaz Surratt, believe it or not, a quarterback, on the record. Chaz had 47-13, 4,713 yards rushing. And Mason Avery against Hendersonville went over that, 4,726. So the records he broke this year are touchdowns in a season, touchdowns career, rushing in a season, rushing
in
career,
a game,
and rushing in a game. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So 5 different things there, if I've got that correctly. Rodney says, talking about gate money, host schools have to love the revenue West Lincoln fans bring in for football, wrestling, and baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you they do. You don't go many places that West don't take a crowd.
No.
And you don't see many. You don't go many places that when you see the visitors would be more than what West Lincoln would bring. Many times West Lincoln travels with more fans than those host schools in those sports mentioned. Now,
had a great crowd up at Hendersonville.
Here's one thing that was mentioned to me a couple nights ago. Well, weeks. I don't know how long ago it was mentioned, but I had an AD tell me that after they paid all the expenses at one of their playoff games, that the visiting team came away more profitable than the home team did. So, I thought that, wow, that's just something wrong there.
Yeah.
My first thought was, aren't all expenses supposed to be paid out before? I don't know how it works. David Avery can tell me, though. And then you split what's left? I don't know. I was just looking on here at some of these. Listen to the names here of the people in the most touchdown responsibility in a career. So that could be running it, throwing it,
Yeah.
however you want to get it there, right?
Field goal, extra point.
But listen, I'm going to give you the top 5. Connor Mitch from Wakefield had 160 touchdowns in his high school career. T.A. McClendon, popular name, right?
Yep.
Albemarle, 178 in his career. Number 3, Sam Howell, popular name. Sun Valley High School, 213 touchdowns in his career. Grandson of the famous Babe Howe that coached at Silver Webster. Number 2. You want to guess number 2 in total touchdown responsibility? Because the last 2 names you're going to know. I mean, you knew 3 of those. 2 of those. 2 of those 3 I've already mentioned. I didn't remember Connor Mitch, but we all know T.A. McClendon and Sam Howe. Last 2 with touchdown responsibility in a career. Who you got?
Chaz Surratt?
That's number 1.
Oh.
He's number 1. 229 touchdown responsibility in his 4 years at East Lincoln. And number 2 should also be very popular to you. He was part of a 7-time
Chris Leak.
Yep, state champion in Independence. 7 straight. And how about Independence? They come back in the mix. Did they
they're
win?
back.
Yeah.
They blew out.
They crushed Olympic, didn't
yeah,
they?
Yeah.
undefeated
Yeah.
Olympic.
Yeah, this team is
But Olympic plays in a much weaker conference.
I think Mac George was telling me, is it McFadden? That's their – what's his name, the guy that's their coach? It was a player there.
I don't know.
And I may have that wrong. I might be thinking of somebody in the NFL. Darryl McFadden is what comes to and I may have that name wrong, though.
Well, there was a Darren McFadden that played in the NFL.
NFL.
Yeah. Well, this we'll just have to look that up in a minute and see what the head coach's name is, because now I'm going to want to know.
West Charlotte back in the playoffs.
So was Joe Cox the other one? Another Independence quarterback?
No, we named them all.
Oh, okay.
We named them all. We named the top.
Oh,
5.
yeah, that's right.
We
Because
named the top
Chaz
5.
broke Chris Leak's record.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might have broke a few of Chris Leak's records.
What do you think the record is? And we got to get these scores. I know. Yeah, Lenny had said Chris Leak. What do you think the record is for most touchdowns in a game in North Carolina? Individual, not as a team.
Well, we've seen 8.
Probably 8 or 9.
I've seen 8
individuals. How many did Logan have? Is that who you're
against
thinking
Charlotte
about?
Catholic.
Yeah.
8.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just 5 short.
Good. Oh yeah. I think we've discussed this.
Ricky Lanier,
13.
Williamston Hayes. Mike is a mathematician this morning. 13.
Oh.
1967.
Gosh.
I had to go back to 1967. Yep. Tyler Lewis, Albemarle. Remember that? Remember him, the kicker? Did he go to Oregon? He went somewhere. Seemed like he went somewhere out west like that.
Mm-hmm.
This one is hit 300.
Yeah, he had to play with T.A. McClendon.
He had the luxury of playing with T.A. McClendon because he kicked 350 extra points in his career. A kid from Wallace Rosehill had 320, and that's way above number 3. About 70 or 80 above the number 3 guy. While I'm on this, I just got to scroll through a few here. It's hard for me not to. Did you know a kid from Bandy's? He's not a kid anymore. He's older than we are. Dink Holler. What did he do, Mike? He had the most 2-point conversion runs. He had 31 2-point conversion runs. And David Avery will remember this. In 1970, he had 7 of those against West Lincoln. Let's see. That's a lot of 2-point conversion runs in a season. I got to think.
You think David Avery remembers that?
No, I'm joking. That's why I said it that way. 1970. No, David's gonna get me for saying he would remember that. Here we go. Lenny says it's either DJ or BJ McFadden is the guy that's at Independence now. And I'll get back to that. I got one on read from Ned here in a minute too. I'm going to scroll through these real quick because we want what got us individual records, most rushing yards in a season. It's Kevin Parks, Brett. You had that. Elijah Hood second, Andre Brown, Tony Baker. I remember Tony Baker out of Ragsdale, terrific running back in the day. Montrell Coley from Goldsboro, I do not remember, but the guy that's got the most yardage in a season is 3,794 yards, 3,794 yards. And that came in 2009. A kid from Catholic, Elijah Hood, who we all know went to play at Carolina and then played for the Panthers a little bit, didn't he, in the NFL? Elijah Hood.
Yeah.
His single season mark was second, 3,690 yards. That's a lot of yards, for sure. Now, what I wanted to see was the career.
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
Are you? What is the career?
Kevin Parks,
Is it?
10,895.
God almighty. Is anybody close?
Tony Baker, 10,241.
How about that?
600
Same
yards.
guy we
Did
were
he play
just
at State, Tony Baker?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
And so did T.A. McClendon, who's third.
Showing your age, Brett. I don't want you to show your age.
9,038 career yards.
Clinton.
Tommy Henry's fifth from Maiden.
How about that? Tommy was a 4-year starter.
8,500 yards.
Yeah, that's a good career. Only to be bested by 2,000 by some of those guys, which is just amazing to me.
Antoine Eichard, 16th on the list.
Okay.
Just under 7,000 career yards.
Another maiden stalwart.
Yep.
Corey Alexander, remember him from Mooresville. Nick Maddox.
Let's see, record book, individual
Nick Maddox
records.
played for Kannapolis, right?
Yeah.
Most passing yards in a season. Want to guess that one? I'll put it this way.
Chaz Surratt.
Well, he is second, 5,621.
Chris Lee.
He's third, 5,193.
Well, that's
You'll
good.
know this name, and he's very recent, 2014, and he played. I'll put it this way: one Lincoln County school played in the conference with this guy. Does that help you any? One Lincoln County school played in the conference.
Is he from Lake Norman?
Yes,
That's
went to Carolina, I think, and maybe played
was it
baseball.
Ladowski or
Josh
something?
Ladowski.
Josh
Yep.
Ladowski,
Josh Ladowski
yeah.
threw for 56-64 in a season. That's quite a bit. Hey, Chaz is on there twice, so you gotta give it. Chris Leake's on there 3 times. Chris Leake is in the top 10 3 times.
How about this?
In the top 10 3 times.
On the career rushing, Maiden's got 5 guys in the top 50.
But that's the Tom Brown era. They pounded that
even
rock. And
Caleb Farley's
yeah,
one of them.
Yeah, yep, I can see that. But I mean, they really had some good running backs when
Chris
when
Ramsor's
Coach
on it.
Brown was in charge up there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
And Ramsor and Eichard were right around the same time, weren't they?
I don't think they were too far apart.
They also had another Eichard, Bruce Eichard,
Yeah,
who was
around 1980, something around that, around there. David Avery says we talked about the guy with all those 2-point conversions from Bandy's had 7 against West. Don't remember it, but sounds like a good pregame speech stat to throw out there. Let's keep this guy. Hey, first of all, let's not let him score 7 touchdowns
yeah.
because that way he won't have the opportunity to run in 7 2-point conversions. Didn't Ricky Lanier go on to play at NC State? That's coming from Lenny, and I cannot answer that. I do not know the answer to that. And then he says went to Carolina to play baseball, and I think he's talking about Ladowski. That kid was a heck of an athlete. He was reminds you a lot of the Salisbury quarterback a couple years ago that actually did the same thing. Honeycutt.
Yeah, Vance Honeycutt.
Yeah.
He's a great baseball player.
Went to Carolina to play baseball. And you can't tell me he couldn't help most colleges out at quarterback because that guy was something else at the quarterback position as well. I got to get off that page. That's something, when you go to those record books on the NCHSAA, that's one of them things that if you ain't careful, you look up and 3 hours have passed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
10 hours on that.
Oh, that's the roofing.
Yep.
We're,
We got roofing going
getting
on
a new roof next door, and I
Yeah.
hear somebody sound like it's pounding on the door, but it is not the door; it's the roof next door.
Yep.
High school football. Let's see. Did this thing take me? I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what's today, real quick, because there are a few games today. If you want to check them out, because Watauga is at home. Watauga's at home to take on Northwest Guilford. Charlotte Catholic at Grimsley. Grimsley is 11-0. Brett said they've got the number 1 ranked player in the state of North Carolina for the 2nd year in a row, and both of them were defensive tackles. What's this guy weigh? 330?
I think it's at 6'6", 330.
6'6", 330. Little man in the middle.
Going to Georgia.
Going to Georgia. Imagine Georgia having a good defensive tackle.
Yeah.
East Forsyth, 11-0, is at home to take on Mount Tabor. And the Carolina Bearcats and the Hickory Hawks meet as well. I don't know if that's playoffs or not. A couple games down east. Lee County is at North Brunswick, and West Columbus is at home to take on Washington County. That is today's high school football schedule. If I was going to one, I'd probably just ride up to Watauga And although the best game looks to be Catholic at Grimsley, I think I would just ride up to Watauga and enjoy the mountains as well. All right, last night, high school football. Boy, some good teams went down. One had to go down. Rolesville and Cleveland met on the field. Number 25 Cleveland in the state of North Carolina loses to Rolesville 28-21. It was West Charlotte just rolling over High Brighton 56-7. Don't look now, but West Charlotte rolls into Kings Mountain next week. Am I right, Brett?
Yeah.
That's the next matchup. I don't know how easy that'll be for Kings
I'll tell
Mountain.
you who West Charlotte's losses are to.
Yeah, probably some powerhouses.
Butler,
oh my,
Independence,
oh my,
Mallard Creek,
oh my,
Huff, and Chambers. It's their 5 losses. I mean, those 5 best teams in Charlotte.
And those 5 have all been ranked nationally at one time or another. If I'm Kings Mountain, I'm a little on edge knowing that West Charlotte team's coming.
And I'm pretty sure they met last year in the playoffs. Let me see what that. Okay, it says it was a forfeit. It looks like West Charlotte had to forfeit their season last year, so I don't know what the on the field
Remember,
result was.
They had some sanctions last year. West Charlotte
so it's
and
got
Chambers.
It's got them at 0-11
because
so
of the running back.
I don't know what happened on the field.
Wow.
27-17, Kings Mountain.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Wow. That could be a football game. That could be a game. I mean, it really could.
Yeah.
That could be a game. Do not overlook those guys. We get our old-timer text of the day. Believe it or not, I played against Dean Collar from Bandy's.
Oh, who's that from?
You should be able to figure that one out. Both of you should. Pretty quick.
I don't know how old he was. Butch Parker?
Butch?
Yep. It's Butch.
Okay.
Butch. I think those guys are, if I'm not mistaken, I think Butch and Dink are both 39 now.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And hold it.
Does that sound good, Butch? 39 years old right now. How about the big win last night? The biggest win in North Carolina last night, to me, came for AC Reynolds.
Yeah.
AC Reynolds defeats Chambers. That's number 10 beating number 2 overall in the state of North Carolina. AC Reynolds 17, Chambers 16 in that game last night. Big win for AC Reynolds. I did some history on them just looking back, and they won a couple 4A state titles before they moved to 3A, and one of those 4A state titles was before it was ever split. Mm-hmm. So that's impressive, and I think I don't know if they can win it, but I sure wouldn't rule them out after that win last night.
You know who they get next?
Probably Butler.
Butler.
Yeah. And that was a guess.
That game last night was 16-14 at halftime, and AC Reynolds kicked a field goal in the fourth quarter. I don't know how late it was.
And this game was at Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
What about next week?
I think it's at Reynolds again, but I'm not.
Reynolds is a 1. We know that, but
Sure.
was Butler a 1? Because Reynolds won their conference.
Well, I know Butler finished in a 3-way tie. I can't remember who got. I think Independence got the 1.
So that means Butler would be on the road.
You remember the 3-way
That's a heck
tie
of a way
between
to
Catholic, Butler, and Independence.
So do you break a 3-way tie with RPI ratings or with
that's
a
how they
coin
do
flip?
Rankings.
Don't the conference get to do it the way they want to or not?
Well, I don't know, but I heard that one was broken with.
That's a question for Butch
with
right
the
there.
RPI.
Does the conference get to determine the way to decide a 3-way tie, or you just automatically go by RPI? Or is it – or do you choose to go RPI? Because I would rather go RPI than I would flip a coin or draw straws, If you flip a coin, somebody's going to be left out because coin's only got 2 sides, right?
Yep.
Butler is the 15. AC Reynolds is the 7.
Okay. So another trip for a Charlotte team to AC Reynolds. Maybe they'll hold serve at home, right? West Henderson in another shootout like last week. They beat West Rowan last night 56-42. Drone over Mitchell County. Second time this year, right? That Drone beat Mitchell?
Yeah.
This time 35-10. Congratulations to Drone too. So many seasons just not very good seasons for Drone. But now they're playing in the 1A and they're moving on to the third round of the playoffs.
Niche.
Yep. Butler over Mooresville 41-21. Mallard Creek falls to Huff. Huff wins last night. Now Brett, you told me Mallard Creek won the first meeting.
Yeah, they
And
did.
I think Mac had told me earlier in the week Mallard Creek won the first meeting. Well, but I did read this week that Mallard Creek beat Huff the first time without an offensive touchdown. They had scored on 2 pick sixes in that regular season game. Last night it was Huff getting revenge, 16-6 over Mallard Creek. Kings Mountain rolls over Smoky Mountain, 42-0. Maiden rolls over Mount Pleasant last night, 46-13. Maiden going to the third round. And Charlotte Christian defeats Rayburn Gap. I don't even know why this school's in Georgia, because they play every week. They play a North Carolina team every week, don't they? Now, we figured out there's 2 Rayburn Gaps, and one's in Georgia and one's in Tennessee, yeah. But I don't know. Charlotte Christian, that's a long trip no matter which one they're from, and I couldn't figure it out there. Usually if you hover, put your mouse over it and hover, it'll tell you at the bottom down there what state they're from. Most high school football games were moved to Thursday night. Right. And in doing so, East Lincoln rolled over Tuscola 35-7. Whiteville over Edenton Holmes in a very close one, 42-35. It was Chase defeating J.M. Robinson. This Chase team, man, they're 12-0 and getting ready to go to Reedsville. That's going to be a heck of a battle. Chase wins over Robinson 35-14. Holly Springs, Pine Forest beats Holly Springs 16-10. It was Murphy in another shootout beating East Wilkes 38-34. Southern Alamance, a lot of high scores here. Southern Alamance 38, New Hanover 32. Reedsville, that we just mentioned, 51-25 over Providence Grove. At one time, Reedsville did trail in this game, though, like 10-7, or maybe even a little worse than that. It seemed like it was 10-7 at one time, Providence Grove's favor. But Reedsville, I want to say, put together about a 28-0 run. Something like that to take control of that game. Speaking of high-scoring close games, Hertford County beat West Craven 44-43. Triton over Hunt 35-16. Eastern Alamance over Burlington Williams 27-24. Very good game here. We do that big pick 'em thing every week, and 10 of us in that. I almost picked Hendersonville, and I'm glad I didn't for that reason, because they did lose. But what a close game. East Surrey 21, Hendersonville 16. Nash Central over Green Central 36-28. Bunker Hill comes from behind to beat Community School of Davidson 41-40. Next week, Bunker Hill at Maiden, round 2.
Yeah, I think that might be where I end up. I want to see Bunker Hill's running back, who I didn't get to see when Langston played him.
And somebody out there might can tell me, when's the last time Bunker went to the third round? They didn't make third round last year, right?
Last year.
When's the last time Bunker made it to the third round? They were pretty good 2 years ago. I don't know if they were third round or not.
I wouldn't think so.
I think it's been a while. Maybe somebody can tell me that.
Yeah.
Eastern Randolph 28, Mountain Heritage 12, Riverside Martin 44, North Edgecombe 14, Perkins 48, East Columbus 14, Newbern over Hoggard 21-0. You rarely see shutouts this time of year. That's not the biggest shutout of the night. We'll get to it in a minute. Eastern Guilford beat Irwin 62-42. Clinton 26, South Granville nothing. That's not it either. Hobton over Southside 42-34. Wake Forest over Leesville Road 45-21. Oak Grove falls to Crest. Undefeated Oak Grove. Crest on the road wins big 42-15. This is another 3A team that you better not count out.
Yep.
Well, that's the other matchup I'm considering next week. Crest at South Point.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
The only thing I hate about South Point is the parking situation.
Oh yeah, what parking? There is none.
Crest South Point. That's the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how did those two teams fare in the regular season?
Well,
The South Point won.
I don't remember what the score was. South Point did win. They had to win.
It seems like it was 2 or 3 touchdowns.
But I honestly think Crest is playing their best football right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
I do. I really think they're playing their best right now.
Well, you got to say South Point is too.
Yeah.
After
Friday or Thursday, whatever night that was. I thought it was a basketball score that I was looking at. And we'll get to that in a second. Hayesville over Christ the King, 14-13. Northern Nash 27, Southern Nash 12. Cardinal Gibbons, Brett, out of the playoffs, ousted by Millbrook, 42-30.
Oh yeah, I think Millbrook
this is a team,
might be the team to beat in the East.
If they beat Cardinal Gibbons, who was ranked 8th in the state overall, I don't know how they can't be. But let us not ever.
Well, no, it wasn't Millbrook out. It's
East Forsyth.
Hillside. I'm thinking about. No, I'm just talking about in the East.
Okay. It was Cummings over Midway, 42-7. Burlington Cummings putting themselves back on the map like they were about 10 or 15 years ago, making a strong comeback, strong statement there. East Duplin over Keenan, 31-17. Princeton, 71. Heidi Trask, 34. Hillside over Apex, 46-43. Independence. This is an undefeated Olympic team that Independence beat, 55-6. Tarboro over Southeast Halifax, 48-0. Ledford, 42. Northwest Cabarrus, 28. A lot of people thought Northwest Cabarrus, who participates in the Lincoln County Jamboree and plays East Lincoln, a lot of people thought that's who they would face next week. No, Ledford moves to 11-1, and Ledford will be rolling into East Lincoln next Friday night.
A little bit about Ledford. They got a quarterback who's thrown for 1,700 and rushed for about 1,000, so multi-purpose threat at the QB position.
Get a couple good things here. The research department working awesome this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to read Denny's first because Gene Schranz has got it pegged. Denny said, I know Bunker Hill made it to the second round in 87. Well, Bunker made it second last year, right? But he don't know if they made it to third in 87. They did because Gene Schranz said the first time for Bunker Hill since 1987. So that's a long time. So no matter what happens now, congratulations to Bunker Hill and the Bears and what they've done. I mean, this is just.
Well, in 87, not to take away from Bunker Hill's season, but that was one step closer to a state championship than it is this year.
Yeah, you only had to win 5 rounds. Exactly. Yeah. But still, it's the amount of playoff wins.
That would have been the final 8 teams in the state in 87. Now it's the final 16 teams.
Where did I leave off here? How about this one? Brett wanted me to ride with him down to the coast to see this one. Wallace Rosehill beat Northeastern 35-31. It was everything we thought it would be, Brett. Lived up to the billing there. Northampton County 28, Northside Pinetown 20. Robbinsville over Cherokee 39-12. Monroe rolls over Lincoln 55-7. We're looking at all these teams in 2A. Let's not scratch off Monroe just yet. This is an offensive powerhouse. Weddington over Cox Mill 30-14. Andrews, who I think is going to win the West at least in the 1A, 35-0 over Mountain Island Charter. Northmore over Pender County, 13-12. Jordan over Pinecrest, 32-28. Mount Airy, 57. North Rowan, 7. Here's the score of the night.
I'll take the field against Andrews.
Will you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mount Airy, Eastern Randolph. There's some good teams.
There are good teams. There are good teams. I'm taking Andrews. I'll stick with it. South Point, 74 over the defending state champs, Dudley, 41.
74 in a team that runs a wing T. They don't even throw it.
Well, somebody, I think Brad or somebody told me I think they scored 2 defensive touchdowns.
Oh,
okay. They still scored
still
57
60.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, 60, Still scored 60.
74.
I mean, that's an amazing number for
And I
South
think
Point to put
most
up.
of that was their freshman quarterback.
What was the score at halftime? Any idea what that score was at halftime?
I think it was like 34-29.
Was it?
Yeah, something like that.
So they were already halfway.
They were about
there.
halfway. Yeah.
71st over J.H. Rose, 28-20. Thomasville shuts out Swain County, 21-0. But that's still not the most notable shutout of the night. Salisbury over Pine Lake Prep, 48-13. Terry Sanford. How about this one? How'd you like to score 55 and lose? Terry Sanford, 58. Scotland County, 55. Or even 42. Jacksonville, 49. Havelock, 42. And that's some good teams getting knocked out right there in Scotland County and Havelock. Southern Durham, 27. Vance County, 7. Rosewood over Warren County, 49-16. And yes, Mike Powell, I skipped this one, and I saved it for last.
You did.
Burns, 42.
Ooh.
Shelby, nothing. The most significant shutout of the night. And I don't know when the last time we saw. I'm going to say Shelby has never played with a running clock when they were on the lower end.
No.
I'm going to say they've probably been out. They've probably been shut out in a playoff game as many times as they've been, but not in most of our listeners' lifetime. I mean,
yeah, that's
maybe
that's
Don
for sure.
Rebels would have.
Yeah, and if they were, it was probably like 7-0 or
Yeah, right. Yeah,
not 42-0.
but this is.
Well, first, let me tell you,
What are we?
This
making
makes me
this
rank
for?
Burns at the top of the heap.
Yeah.
In the two A's that are left. I mean, it's hard not to put them there when they manhandle Shelby like that. Long way to go. Still got to play. Can they have the same emotion next Friday as they had this week?
Yep.
and
know.
Salisbury's not going to be easy.
No. No, what were you going to say? You said, let me
South
tell you.
Point beat Crest 35-13 about midway through the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they would still beat Crest should they play today. I would pick
Well, they're
South
going to play
Point.
Friday.
You know, so, but, well, if they score 70, it won't be close.
Yeah.
I don't think. But, you know, I mean, Crest offense has been clicking all year. Now their defense seems to be playing better. Now, it's a whole different world when you try to stop South Point,
Yeah.
and everybody knows that. So it's such a different kind of offense. So I don't know what you get, but I don't know.
Now, here's the stat I
could
saw.
see this game being 28-point spread. I could see it being a 7-point
Yeah.
spread. You know, I don't know what to pick there.
I think Crest playing their best ball right now and should be closer.
Got to
this
go to
time.
Red Raider land. Don't they?
Yep.
This goes back to 1968, and I don't know why it only goes back to 68, but anyway, this is the stat I saw. Burns became the first team to beat Shelby twice in a season since 1968 or beyond. They only go back to 68. They don't know if it happened before then. And it also says the only two times a team avenged a regular season loss to Shelby was 1985. Kings Mountain beat them in the playoffs, and 2001 Lincoln
So they avenged it.
beat them. But yeah, since 1968, nobody's beat Shelby twice in a season.
Okay, so
And it may
Kings
not have
Mountain-
ever happened.
Kings Mountain lost to them, but later beat them in the playoffs. Lincoln lost to them, but later beat them in the playoffs. That's the only two times that's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they usually win. I would say their playoff winning percentage, at least over the last 25 years, is
75%.
I'd say higher than that.
Higher than that.
I bet it eclipses 80. I don't know that, but I would bet that. Don Revel says, trying to put it out of my mind, I watched it and have never seen Shelby get pushed around like that. Can only tip my hat to Burns. Yeah, I mean that's about all you can do.
Yeah.
In a case like that. That just blows my mind that they were. We'll have a new 2A state champion this year. That's one thing
for sure.
that secures. I had a couple things I wrote down here, and we're moving forward now, and somebody's gonna take the reins, and I'm gonna tell you these are my thoughts. Okay, on who could. I'm gonna start with the 3A, and you tell me if I'm just totally wrong that it can't happen. This is who I think can win the 3A West. Okay, we got 8 teams left, right? Kings Mountain. That's a pretty easy one, right? Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you don't have a dog in the fight, you almost have to pull for Kings Mountain because they've never won a state championship. They're the only one of the 4 Cleveland County schools that have not won a state championship, and they've knocked on the door a few times. So,
they've been 3rd, 4th round a number of times.
And
Catholic was always one of their.
And they take on West Charlotte, and I'm not going to say I think West Charlotte can win the West because even though their schedule has been the toughest in the state, it has to be with the names that Brett said that they had lost to. It has to be the toughest in the state. I still think the road might be a little too tough for them to get through, especially playing them all on the road. I don't know if that matters to them or not. I think East Lincoln can win the West in 3A. I think South Point has established themselves maybe as the favorite to win the 3A West. And that's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. Now, you can tell me in a few weeks if I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be Kings Mountain, East Lincoln, or South Point. That's it.
And West Henderson is now
Not gonna win.
12-0. But I watched some of their game against West Rowan last night, and they had a hard time stopping West Rowan. It was a high-scoring game. I don't remember what you said.
52-44, 55-42, something like that. Yeah.
And then
Does Crest actually play South Point for sure this week? For some reason, when I wrote it down, I've got it.
yeah.
I've just got it different. Okay, I just didn't write them in the correct order.
So who won between? Did Eastern Guilford beat Irwin? I don't remember what you said in that one.
To be quite honest with
I
you,
think it was Eastern Guilford. We'll be playing West
to
Henderson.
be quite honest with you, I don't remember calling it out.
You might not have.
I
I think Eastern Guilford won. West Henderson is the
think
seed.
I think they won on Thursday night because I wrote down
Okay.
Eastern Guilford like they didn't have a matchup. You know,
So the winner of Crest and South Point, if West Henderson wins, they'll go to West Henderson. If Eastern Guilford would beat West Henderson, then South Point or Crest will get a home game because Eastern Guilford's the 23 seed. Yeah, I think it's shaping up for South Point to be in the Western Final again.
yeah. I'm gonna read a couple messages real quick here. Butch says that the '60s that was the Western North Carolina High School Athletic Playoffs for Shelby and those schools regarding playing each other twice in a season. So it would have been the Western North Carolina playoffs. And John Davis, yes, I will do this. He wants me to mention that that Hall of Fame tickets, Lincoln County Sports Hall of Fame, coming up next Saturday. Hall of Fame tickets are on sale right now, and there's not many. It says here maybe 10 tickets left. Maybe 10 tickets remain for the Hall of Fame banquet. You can contact John Davis at the Lincoln County Department of Recreation for information on those tickets. Also, he wants to know, when is the Sports Talk Guys World Cup coverage begin?
Ooh.
Well, where is the World Cup this year?
Qatar is one of the places.
We're going to send Mike
Okay.
on assignment to
Qatar.
Qatar with his guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some more messages too, I think, that I needed to read real quick before we get out here. Maybe not. Yeah, John's right there with it. Qatar sends me the messages. That's where it is. I want to go to the other side and tell you who I think can win the 2A.
All right.
Do I think Reidsville can win the 2A?
You do.
Absolutely.
You do.
Do I think Chase can win the 2A? They're on my second tier, but I think they could. I'll tell you what, if they beat Reidsville, I'm going to instantly put them into that yes, if they beat. Do I think Maiden can win the West? I absolutely think Maiden can win the West. They score points from anywhere on the field. It's going to be hard to stop them. If it gets in a shootout, it's in their favor.
Yeah.
The more points, the more it's in Maiden's favor. Sorry, Bunker Hill, you've overachieved this year. I can't put you in that category just yet. Burns, well, of course, a 42-0 win over Shelby tells me you might could win the 4A. Salisbury, not this year. Don't think so. Monroe, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think Monroe could definitely win the West. East Surrey, very good team. I think they go down this week. After
I think East Surrey has
home field advantage. That's
the
what
best
you're going to say.
player
Do you?
in the West,
In
or the most important player,
okay.
Boaz, the quarterback.
Yeah.
Because he does it all for that team. I mean, Chris Culver might be the best player in the 2A West,
Right.
but
Best overall player, yeah.
But East Surrey's as a quarterback, and he's
Right.
thrown for 2,800 yards. He's rushed for another 700.
Now, here comes a couple things I want to mention real quick. The teams that are left: Kings Mountain, never won a state title.
Yeah.
Smoky Mountain got ousted last night. Last time they won a state title, they weren't called Smoky Mountain. Mike Powell, what were they called?
Civil Webster.
And they won it in 1972 and 73, back to back.
Eric Streeter.
West Charlotte last won a title in 95. Did you realize that, Brett? How long that's been? High Brighton last won a title in 17. Ledford has not won one. East Lincoln last won their title in 2014. Crest in 2015. South Point in 2016. Eastern Guilford none. West Henderson none. And West Rowan last won their title in 2010. On the 2A side, Reidsville, last won their title 2 years ago, 2020. Chase has never won a state title. Maiden's last one was 1978. Bunker Hill has not won a state title. Burns,
94.
94. Mike Powell.
Tony Scott.
1994. Salisbury,
2 years ago.
2020. Monroe,
A few years ago.
2015. East Surrey,
2019.
2019. 2019. 2019. These two teams, modern day powerhouses. These two teams lead the state in state titles since 2000.
Oh, since 2000.
Well, I had to put Reidsville in there. No.
Shelby.
I love you guys. Both of you got one.
Okay.
Your two teams that lead the state in state titles since 2000, Reidsville with 9, Shelby with 9. Who comes in second, or third actually, with 7 state titles in that same time period? Wow.
Tarboro.
Yes,
Tarboro.
Tarboro.
Yeah,
Tarboro. I think Charlotte Catholic was 6. I just stopped right there at the
And
the
Reidsville
7
has
mark.
the most all-time.
Reidsville has the most all time. Yep.
18, I think. 18 or 19.
Yeah, I'll tell you somebody else that's close though, and those all time that we don't ever mention a lot is Robbinsville.
Yeah.
They're pretty. They're way up there
Yeah,
too.
about 12 maybe.
Yeah, in state titles.
Well, Shelby's got to have around the same
Yeah.
amount.
Yeah, and there's others in there too. I mean, we didn't throw them all out there. There's no way to go through them all, but it's just.
But don't Reidsville count some when they were playing?
There a lot of
Where them and Shelby weren't in the same.
They have about 6 on their board that were in the 30s.
Yeah.
So I don't know what. Now Butch might can tell us what.
So it wasn't the
association-
NCHSAA.
No. Butch could tell us what they might have played in Reidsville. I don't know if they played in the Western. They might have played in the Eastern Association. I don't know.
Yeah.
Back then, because depending on which class they go, even when they were split 2A, if they were big, they went one direction, and if they were small, they went the other.
Yeah.
They went to West and East. They're right in the middle. That they could go. That don't happen anymore, thank goodness. You know which side of the state you're going on before it ever starts, and I do appreciate that the state has gone to that point and drawn direct borders by counties, which is really nice. But what's the chances? The reason I was getting to this, and we just got a couple minutes left. What's the chances that of the teams that are left, and I'm not talking about 4A and I'm not talking about 1A because we cover 2A and 3A the most, that we have a new state champion that's never won it in either one of those classes?
Well, I think Kings Mountain's got the best chance for a school that's never won.
I would
it.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that, no doubt. Chase.
Yep.
Chase,
just throwing it
yeah,
out
that-
there. Just throwing it out there.
I mean, they have to beat Reidsville and
Yeah,
then
it's
probably Maiden and then Burns. I mean, I
That's
don't
a tough
I don't
road.
think Chase can
That's
do
a
that.
tough road. I'm telling you, that's a tough road. We're just now starting to get to the meat of the playoffs.
Yeah, we are.
I mean,
Third
we've had some pretty decent games, but we're starting to get to the meat of the playoffs where, like Ned says, let's not take all these teams because of what happens. Well, you get 2 rounds out of the way, and then, buddy, it should be some slugfest.
I think Maiden beats Bunker Hill by 3 touchdowns next week.
You're funny. Did I tell you
What-
that, or
do
did
you
I tell
remember-
somebody else? No.
Do you remember what Maiden did to West Lincoln in the second meeting
I
last year?
told Lanny this morning. That's who it was. It wasn't you. I told Lanny this morning because he said that's going to be a great game, and I did. I gave him old Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually the team that wins the first one wins the second one by a bigger margin.
Bigger margin.
Ask Burns. Ask Shelby.
That's West Lincoln
And
last year.
I
Yeah.
saw both teams play, and I just don't think Bunker Hill was on Maiden's level.
You never know.
No, they didn't
You
have
never
their
know.
running back when I saw them.
Yeah.
But
Well, they've been incredibly resourceful.
The one thing I expect.
I mean, one point win.
I'm gonna set an over under for that game at. I'm gonna set that thing at about 65.
I'll go under.
Wow.
I'll say 35-14.
Okay.
Maiden.
That'd be under. 65 points, Mike. You going over or under on total points in the
65.
game?
I'm going to go.
What would it take? What's the
Now
logical
that one
score?
was it 36-33?
If it's
the first time?
42 to what to get to 65? 42 to 23
Yeah.
would be 65. So 40.
I'm going 35-28 Maiden. That's 50.
That's still under, right?
It's under, yeah.
Yep. 35-28 is 63. No, 53.
Yeah.
I don't see Maiden giving up
No,
as
that's
many
63.
points as they did the first
That's
time.
63.
Wasn't it 36-33?
I think
The
so.
first time?
I think so.
I don't think
And
Bunker Hill's going to get to 33 this time.
Maiden took the lead with 46 seconds to go in that game.
Yeah. And I'm basing a lot of this on what I saw when Lincoln played Bunker Hill. I mean, it was 7-6.
Yeah.
And Bunker Hill really struggled to move the ball.
And it's funny because the week you saw them, the very next week, Mike and I saw them at West. They lit it up.
Yeah.
They threw it 35 times
They did.
in the West Lincoln game.
What was that
35
game?
pass attempts.
35, 34, something like that.
Yeah, it was whatever it was. It was 1 point overtime.
1 point overtime. Yeah.
If it's close, you might want to go with law averages and go with Bunker.
Another thing I like-
because Bunker's really played a lot of close games.
Maiden has
Yeah.
a lot of seniors.
Yeah, that
And
helps
Bunker
you
Hill's
too.
a young team.
Yeah, playing with a lot of seniors this time of year goes a long way.
Well, East Lincoln is, 26?
26.
Yeah, East Lincoln's loaded with
Yep. East
loaded
Lincoln
with
and Maiden
seniors.
are probably the most two senior-laden teams in our immediate area here. Anyway, wouldn't you think?
I see Kings Mountain East Lincoln on the collision course.
That's what I'm.
Well, I
that's
mean,
what I'm hoping.
We've been.
I don't know how good Ledford is.
We've been looking for that, Mike, since the playoff brackets came out. You know, I mean, we've been looking for that. Kings
And I would
Mountain,
take
East
Kings
Lincoln
Mountain to
game.
beat West Charlotte, but I hope
We
Kings
know
Mountain's going to have to play their A game, I think, to beat West Charlotte.
They are the 1 seed, so they get everything at home. So you know they could have 5 home games, including the East Lincoln one, if that does take
That's
place.
true.
So only time will tell, right? Hey, I tell you what. All I know is it's a fun time.
Yeah, it's
the
a
high
great
the high
time.
school playoffs are really good right now. Something come up last night. I did not go. I was going to go watch Maiden play last night. I did not go. So I hate that I lost an opportunity to go to 2 playoff games on one weekend.
Yeah.
You can still go today.
Back to back.
Yeah, I could still go
You
today.
could go
but
tonight.
I'm-
You could see 3.
Yeah, C3.
I told
yeah.
you one of them's at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're not expected to see the sun today. I don't know if this stuff's going to dry out. If we're not going to.
All I hope is we get a good weather.
Friday looks good.
Cold.
Yeah, it looks cold. But Friday's weather, Maiden with a home game, so I'll check the Maiden weather right here.
East Lincoln with
62
home.
outside right now. Friday, the high is 48.
I'll take it.
The low is 29,
I'll take it.
and partly cloudy skies during the
Yeah,
day.
you guys get
So,
to be in a press box.
sounds
do.
good. Yeah, he'll
hope.
take 4 below.
I'm the one probably going to South Point and sitting in that weather.
He don't care if it's 4 below,
That's
Mike.
right,
no,
baby.
We'll be
We'll be
inside. he said.
insulated in the press.
The game won't be near as good though if it's 4 below. It's just this wouldn't be as entertaining. Hey, we appreciate you tuning in this morning. Thanks for all the folks that weighed in, gave us either an opinion or some information that
on
we could use.
Facebook
We loved
and
it.
on David's
Absolutely.
text.
I love the interaction. For Mike, Brett, I'm David. See you next week on Sports Talk.